But now you're piecemealing out your masculinity. I'm getting this needs sort of met over here, and this needs sort of met over here, and this needs sort of met over here. Now your energy to actually do something real about it gets siphoned off. And you're not going to have any of what you need to really push past the fear, your own fear, and then push past her fear, which is even bigger. That not only she's not going to be sexy enough, but she's not going to be, she's worried you're going to call her a whore if she acts too sexually available and crazy. So she's got these two fears, these two extremes. So I was fascinated with the story that you shared with me, because it's basically what the Taoist practices, this alming, this orgasmic meditation practices. It's pretty much the same principle, but you were using it in this really...
I had no idea.
Yeah, you had no idea. So I think intuitively it's in all of you, but I thought this was such a great story of how, you were doing the White Tigress teachings, but you just, all you knew is I want to make sure I'm motivated to meet my goals this week, the things I want to accomplish this week, and so I'm going to give myself a treat. But in reality, you were harvesting, cultivating, building up sexual power so that you could utilize that sexual power in your life to accomplish your goals, rather than siphoning it off and not having enough to really go out and have the motivation to do what you need to do. So you want to share?
Sure. Don't ask why we started talking about this. But,
how could they? Why would they ask? This is all I ever talk about.
I don't usually share my masturbation practices with everybody, but no. What happened was when I was single again, like 7 years ago, I was pretty committed to going out all the time, meeting women, and this really applies to a lot more than that. But I read somewhere that masturbation lowers your motivation, and so I did realize when I would masturbate, if I knew I was going out that night, if I would watch porn, masturbate, or whatever, then maybe I'll still go out, because I was very committed. But the idea of getting laid, which was my goal at the time. I'm not saying that has to be your goal, but at that time, I was going out to meet women to have sex with, and my motivation would go down. Maybe I would still go out, but I'd be like, I don't need to clean my place up. I don't need to, because I don't need to bring a girl home anyway. So my whole motivation will go out. If I do go out, I'm not as the idea of having sex with some beautiful woman that I meet that night is kind of like it's probably not going to happen anyway. I'm not that motivated to really go out and do it. It's not real in my head. So what I decided is that I'm not gonna masturbate unless I haven't gotten laid in 1 week. If I haven't had sex in 1 week, then I'll masturbate. And so I used to be very serious about this. I would watch the calendar, and now it became not a privilege, but it became a matter of necessity. If I go out, like, I have physical urges, so I'm really motivated to get a girl back home that night. And you'd be surprised. In the beginning, I would go, a week, no sex, and then masturbate. But it came to a point where I would hardly ever go a week without it, because I was getting women in the meantime. And I didn't have a girlfriend; they were like new women. So that was one thing. But and that's the reason I did it, is to get laid. That's how everything started for me. But again, it had benefits way outside of that. I noticed that I was way more motivated for work, for every other area in my life too. The fact that I'm not masturbating. And don't get me wrong, I'm big. I love porn and all that stuff, but I think if you use it as a substitute for sex, it's just going to drive you into a place where you're just not, forget about getting sex, you're not motivated for just normal things in your life that you should be doing, your normal responsibilities. So I still have porn, but I'll watch it with a girl most of the time instead of just by myself as a substitute for a girl. So for me, it was a really big benefit. And I started asking, like, the students that I coach seriously, that are like doing several hours of training with me and coaching, I'd ask them how many times they masturbate, and there's a direct correlation of how much success they're having, the attitude they have when they go out, based on how much they masturbate. So now I won't, I'll call them and check to make sure they're not breathing all heavy and shit, you know what I mean? I'll make sure that they're sticking to that 1 week rule. And for me, it was really beneficial in every way. even now, if I'm really, I don't follow it as strictly anymore, but even now, I won't use it as a substitute for the real thing. And if you are in a relationship, or you know, if you have been, I've been in relationships where the sex was like, we didn't have that comfort level like she's talking about, and so it was kind of like just a job, but it was a lot easier for me to just go and take care of myself without putting the effort and time in there, and worrying about her needs and all that. That was really bad for the relationships that I was in as well. So I've noticed that.
And you ripped yourself off.
Yeah, because the real thing is way better as long as you're comfortable enough with it, and it's all about comfort.